Hello everyone, welcome to Downtown Tailoring. I was working in a vintage petticoat and I needed to do a rolling hem. Although I use mostly the band roll technique, it's fabulous. Sometimes you have to use other techniques. So in today's video, I'm gonna show you a few techniques to make the rolling hem. And wait until the end because you will love it. So let's go! I'm gonna start with the regular rolling hem foot with this chiffon material, and because it's chiffon I need a very small size needle. I have this one 12. I think they are a little too big, but we're gonna start with that to see what happened. Let's hope I can sew without making too many holes. So this is the rolling hem foot. This is a very cheap one, and they can come for different sizes, like a 1/8, 1/4, 1/16. I took the 1/8, which is very comfortable to use. The 1/16 is a little bit more tricky, but it can be managed as well. So pretty much it's very straightforward. What you need to do is to make sure that the edges are very straight and not frayed at all. And then to start, you are gonna fold your material twice a little bit with your fingers. It's a little bit tricky. You need to fold it twice, like at the rolling hem, and then you start and stitch, and you make like a few stitches, and then you kind of move your hem through the mechanism, and then you can just keep going. In this case, my stitch is coming like a too much in the middle of the hem, and that doesn't look great, but this is not a big deal. You just need to move a little bit your needle, and then it positions itself in the edge, and you will be okay. You see, very beautiful. If it's too much, you move it again until you are sure that your needle is in the correct position. And this is how it looks. Let me do it with the same color thread, but I accidentally used double eye needle. This is not what I wanted. I wanted just a regular needle, so this one is not so small, but let's see what happened. It doesn't really matter. So I'm making it in the white fabric with the white thread, and look at that. You see, it looks really neat, very beautiful. I recommend my next example for a little bit more thicker fabric, more like a satin or something like that. And what you are gonna do, you are gonna make sure to place your needle at the edge, and then you are gonna fold your material, and then you are gonna start sewing. So pretty much you are going to sew your fabric at the very, very, very edge. If you cannot move the needle, you just have to move the fabric. It doesn't matter. You can do it. You see how it looks? It's very neat. And when you have it all sewn, then you are gonna cut the excess of fabric. This is very tricky. You can cut the material. It takes time. Sometimes the duckbill scissor is a little bit more comfortable, but you don't really need it. And then when it's all cut like that, you see, it's very small, then you can fold it again, and then you are gonna stitch it on top. So now I'm gonna move back a little bit my needle, because now I don't want it in the edge. I want it like on top of the hem. And pretty much you are gonna stitch over the first stitch you do, but the most important is that your stitch is very parallel to the edge of the fabric. This is why I prefer to use like a clear foot, because I can see better what I'm doing. So I keep sewing straight and nice, and this is the result. You see, it looks really good. One side and then to the other. And this one is a little bit thicker, but it's really very recommended. You see, after I iron, it's looking really good. And this is how it looks with the same color thread and fabric. You see, very nice and beautiful. A variation of this technique is to use the serger first. You are gonna make sure to drop the big needle and then use just your right needle in your serger, and then you are gonna serge all around. You see, it's a very narrow serge, and then you can go to your sewing machine. And what you are gonna do, you are gonna do exactly the same thing you did before. You are gonna fold it a little bit and sew at the very edge. And now you have your fabric what is cut, and you have as well the measurement of the width of your hem, which is the width of your serger. So you just need to fold it again like we did before, and you are gonna stitch again. You see, this method produces a little bit thicker hem than the one before, but you don't have to cut the material, which really save a lot of time. So you can see in the same piece of fabric, I have the two of them. As you can see, there is not too much distinction between them. If you touch it like I'm doing now, you will feel like the one you did with the serger is slightly thicker, but the difference is not that noticeable. And I think this way is just genius. My next technique was the first one I learned when I went to fashion school. You are going to start like always doing the first stitch at the edge as we did, and then after you cut, instead of folding it again, what we are going to do is just to zigzag. So you are going to make sure to set your machine in a zigzag that is not too wide, and the length of the stitch as well shouldn't be too long. So you can play with your machine. I think in between 1 and 2 is good, like a 1.5 or so, and the width of the stitch not really like a in 3.5, something like that. And you play because all the materials are different, so not one set will give you really the same result. And here you go. You see, it looks really nice. It's beautiful. And let me do it again with the white on white to see how it looks. As a young fashion designer, all my dresses were finished this way, like that. Well, not all, because some of them were finished by hand too, which I didn't include it today, but I can do it in another video if you like. And my last technique is a variation of the one that I just did. We are gonna use fishing thread. This one is 0.45 millimeters. And I'm gonna prepare the machine as I prepare it all the time, with the needle a little bit at the edge. And now I'm gonna use the zipper foot because I'm gonna fold my material with the fishing thread inside, and then I'm gonna stitch all around very close to the thread, and then I'm gonna cut the excess of material as I did all the time. Then I'm gonna put back my other foot, and then I'm gonna come back to the zigzag stitch, and then I'm gonna zigzag all around. So it's pretty much the same method, but this one is with the fishing thread inside. I'm gonna make it in white so you can see, and pretty much this is the same look, but it will create like a different effect. It's like I make it wider. I'm gonna show you this effect with Miss Inch. So I'm gonna make a little skirt here with the chiffon. I don't have too much chiffon, but I'm gonna make a bias skirt in pieces. I think 3 pieces will be okay. So I'm gonna sew that. I'm gonna sew that very fast for you. I'm using here just the easiest, the French seam. And anyways, the French seam is the more proper way to sew the chiffon because it looks clean and nice. As a young fashion designer, I was always so afraid of the chiffon. And after you really understand this fabric, you know exactly how the chiffon behaves, and then it doesn't have so many surprises, and then you look back and you say, why I was so afraid? But it was a really good experience because it was so popular. In the past, still chiffon is a very popular material for bridesmaid and a lot of kind of gowns. So this is the skirt, is done. Right now, as you can see, it doesn't have any hem. I'm gonna do a hem very quick because I want you to see the difference of the regular roll hem and the hem with the fishing thread. And I'm using the band roll technique just because it's a little bit faster. Oops, Am I sneaking the band roll technique in here? When I said that I wouldn't mention it? Really? This is what I'm doing? Wow, it's my favorite. What can I say? So I did now the hem, and I'm ironing it, and I'm gonna put it in the mannequin so you can see. So at the left you have no hem, and now at the right you have the hem, and you see it looks really nice. But now I'm just gonna cut out that hem because I wanted to show you how beautiful a hem with the fishing thread is. You will love it. So now I'm gonna make exactly the same. I'm putting my fishing thread inside, and then I'm gonna go, and while I'm sewing, I'm making sure to not pull the thread because you want the material to be very stretched out. This is part of the beauty. And now I'm gonna do my zigzag here on top. I'm doing exactly the same. Now the hem is done and it's looking pretty good, but look at Miss Inch. Look at the hem. You see how it opens? It's so beautiful. Look at that. See, we don't have too much material, but even not having so much material, still you can see the effect. And look at the 3 comparisons. It looks really good. It opens so much and it's so beautiful. So guys, I gave you 5 methods to do the rolling hem that are not band roll technique. Using the rolling foot, fold and fold, search, fold and fold, fold and zigzag, and fold with the fishing thread and zigzag. Please let me know in the comment which one do you like the most. And if you find this video useful or entertaining, please give us a like and don't forget to subscribe, share, comment. Bye!